Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, May 7, 2021, Friday. As usual, topic of today's talk is civil field engineering, COVID-19 designs, construction methods, contracts, AnnexSL, organizations, communication, coordination, quality, and why quality, why be behind quality is a question here for everybody. Certificates are available. We believe in certificates, different level of certificates. Example, fellow membership certificate of IEI, which is Institution of Engineers India, and another certificate is a Chartered Engineer India. That's also issued under law, under Charter, Royal Charter of IEI, and also this is another certificate. You can say here it is Professional Engineer Certificate, which is also issued under law at international level. And with these certificates, what do we understand ourselves? Means, are certificates enough? That's my question. Should we not be serious about this issue, or we should be happy with certification only? These certificates are available, no problem. We can have them. Big certificates. But should we honor them? Question is, for example, this is a certificate. Should we honor it or not? And then what is happening? You can say this is happening. When we start talking COVID, you may say, why is talking COVID in this professional engineering talk? Yes, you can raise this question. But this question is very much logical. And the answer is also very much logical. Because COVID-19 has become a part of life, has become temporarily an integrated part of life. Which may not agree, you may agree. Agreement is different, but facts are facts. We can say what we don't want to say, but facts still apply. Facts still apply. We can't official reports about 4,000 lives, human lives, citizens' life in our country. Every day it's about, say, 4,000 are declared dead officially from various hospitals, whereas from home, where there is no record as such. So I can say comfortably, keeping a brief status of graveyards, status of funeral grounds, and public's crying that not 4,000 but 10,000 or more. I can simply say 10,000 or more people die every day. That, of course, it's not be guaranteed, and government is not guaranteed any such figure. But we can say that yes, we can't certainly say it may be 15,000, it may be 20,000, but on an average, I say 10,000 per day we are losing. This means 3 lakh people we are losing in 1 month. Horrific. Horrific, very much uncomfortable, unpleasant situation we have. And every day, for example, yesterday on May 6th, 2021, government published 4.12 or 13 lakhs cases, infection cases in 1 day or 24 hours. 4.12 lakhs. Well, it's no joke. If government is saying 4.12 lakhs, I would say it is 1 million, because government figures are censored one, certainly, to keep panic down. So let us say million or more. There are certain sources which say 1.5 million, but I would stay at 1 million itself. Question is, Are we an exclusive country currently in whole world which has caused problem to ourselves and to whole world? Because whole world is worried, keeping in consideration our population 1.3 billion people, and if this adverse state of COVID continues as such, means whatever infections we get every day, that's around 50% of whole infections caseloads coming up from whole world. You can say otherwise by question that currently in COVID-19 we are at 50% par with whole world cases. Means we are half a world now as far as COVID-19 issue is concerned. 50% world infections in our country, Bharat, India, which is very, very dark state, and I am sure this goes beyond our local controls, our national controls. So far, there has been no indication that we should control this way or that way. Facts remaining that oxygen shortage exists, beds do not exist to that number, hospitals are not well equipped to that requirement, doctors and nurses are not very happy, and we can say whatever is required is not equipped and public suffers. Daily I view many videos which project state of funerals, state of crematoriums, and state of both ghats. It is very much horrific that even space is not available for cremation. It may be electrical crematorium or it may be fire crematorium on open. Both have fallen inefficient, deficient. I cannot blame anyone at this stage because blaming is not required, solution is required. Vaccination was very important. It was considered a trust in people, though it doesn't lead to any solution, but at least you can prolong COVID impact if vaccination is successfully done. That has also broken. That stage is also broken. We cannot say that we are working very efficiently on that on this day or currently in May, first week of May. Today is 7th May. So it is first week, end of first week. Situation is very, very bad. If you take data from government records, which I keep generally with me, and I usually put it before people of this country, the data clearly says that till today we have only tested people up to 22% maximum. If we do not test people, how shall we know who is having COVID-19 and who is not having COVID-19? Testing is very expensive for people who are poor and those who may be strong bodily but having no symptoms yet they have COVID-19. So how to know that those people are positive of COVID-19 or negative of COVID-19? And if we know, if we discover by testing people who are positive, at least further expansion of COVID, further infection of COVID can be avoided by isolating them. But that situation has failed. If you consider since March 2020 to May 2021, it is very much serious issue that we don't have capacity to test our public. In 13 months, we could not test even 25% people. So it will take another 3 to 4 years if we keep on like this. I think government considered if we vaccinate them, this problem will solve. Well, that is government consideration. Government considers from different aspects. They consider it from political aspect, they consider from social aspect, they consider it from international aspect. There are so many aspects, but I'm not concerned with either of them. As a citizen of this country, as a professional, I am considered how to handle this situation, which has gone to extents now, limit extents. There were reports that government had been careless, and there are also reports that people were careless. People were careless because government was careless. Government declared in January, February that this problem has gone and we have got victory over this. That was political scandal, political issue, because they wanted to win over elections in 5 states. There could be some political backing of that. But my issue is not that. My scope is not that. My scope is how to handle this issue COVID-19. If I understand very well, if I understand correctly, this is not short-term problem. It has till now crossed 14 months, 15 months, and yet not even understood. And if you cannot even understand, whole world cannot even understand, being there are lakhs of scientists, doctors, and other experts. If you are not even able to comprehend this issue, well, I don't think we can help it. We can help ourselves. If we cannot understand this issue, we cannot help ourselves. There was a time, plenty of time. We knew that all over the world, it could be England, it could be America, it could be Europe, it could be Far East, it could be GCC countries, it could be Middle East like Jordan, like Libya, like Iraq, like Lebanon, like Egypt. You talk of any part of the world, whatever part, even Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, or remote European countries, Sweden, those were not impacted earlier, secondly impacted. We did not even learn lessons from them. In engineering, in our field, learning lesson is considered very, very important. And if we do not learn from experience, then we can call ourselves illiterate, I should say. Illiterate in the sense that we don't learn from experience. Learning from education is different. But if whatever we feel difficulty in life, we find ourselves in very bad situation. What situation? And that's what we have been noticing, observing. Situation in March was different. Situation in end of last year was different. Situation in January or February, when government thought COVID had gone, and we had got defeated COVID. That dream statement, that dream imaginative statement has been killing us now. A statement made by political people, by government, in such a way that we have got victory, and then people got careless, because if Prime Minister says that or Health Minister says that, this means people must trust them, and people starting conducting in a way that there was no COVID. It was deception, it was misconception, but that has gone negative. This has amplified itself. COVID-19 has amplified, proliferated, promoted itself beyond our controls and beyond world controls, you can say. At this moment, there is no difference between what we do and what other countries do. But we should have learned from them what happened adversely in USA, what happened in England, UK, what happened in Europe, like France, like Russia. and like German, and like countries as the Sweden, what happened in many other parts of world, what happened in Qatar, in Saudi, in Kuwait. Every day there has been something linked. All these countries have been suffering. Even a small country like Oman has suffered, and those people have been taking, if you read news, these people from various Gulf Council countries are very strict in actions, and that is beauty of these countries. They impose penalties so that at least people are in control, people are under control of government or administration, not penalty imposed because they want to earn money. It was only because of helping people. But in our country, there is no such provision, and at this stage, when country is hungry for oxygen delivery, I'm not saying oxygen production, I am saying oxygen distribution. When our country is defective in that, deficient in that, in our country cannot provide hospitals to everyone. Even private hospitals have raised issues now because of oxygen shortage, because of bed shortage, because of ventilator shortage, and because of so many reasons. Nobody wants to put themselves in darkness by resorting to risks. Nobody is interested in that. Engineering says you should think of. What is engineering? Engineering says that in our quality system, engineering is very, very clear. It says that we have to think of. But do we? I just forgot that file somewhere, I think. It should be somewhere here. COVID-19, where's quality file? Just a minute, please. Let me find out that file I lost somewhere. Let me open that file. I think I did a mistake by closing that file, because that's very important file reference. And just a minute, no problem. I'll be back. And that is here. I think here it is. I'll take this file scissors, and just a minute, please excuse me for that. It is. So this file should be somewhere here. Quality. Yes, I got it. I got this file. Yes, it is. Yes. So I got this file, quality everywhere. Sorry, Anil. No, what we say in quality everywhere, this is thinking. We say, yes, this is what we say. Thinking and contemplation and this is basics of engineering, and not only engineering but also basics of living. Why we could not think for this? Why did we fail in realizing future necessity of health sector? Could we not understand that? Do we not have adequate experts to advise public and government? Or do we not have a smooth thinking, a smooth working, a smooth moving government who can think about that? In medical world, oxygen is very common, medical oxygen. In medical world, hospitals are very common, and beds too are very common. Nurses and doctors, of course. These are very common items. These are not items that are required rarely. Hospitals, beds, nurses, ventilators, oxygens, these are very common items, and you cannot say they should not be available. Keeping abreast public population and percentage proportion of medical supplies and medical requirements must be available all time. What could be reason that These were ignored. There should be some reason. Without reason, we can't deliberate. We have to think. And that thinking, we did not operate. We, actually speaking, when I say quality everywhere, there was no quality anywhere. Quality of thinking, quality of system. They now blame TV channels, blame system, but they don't define what is that system. If television channels claim system did not work, why system did not work? That issue should be investigated first before just lamenting blame that system did not work. Why system did not work? Question is that where is system? What is definition of system? And since when this system has been working? All this must be considered. We cannot name something as system and pass blame because there is some system control on system. Who is that control? In our world of construction, in world of engineering, we also say system is there. But who controls this? Just like there is a system of computer. We say this is a system, operating system, disk operating system, DOS we say. Disk operating system. But who controls that system and who uses that system? Of course, user uses that system, but who controls that system? That system is controlled by machine. That software is controlled by machine and machine is controlled by machine language. So there is some control behind everything. Just like I am controlled by my soul, I am controlled by nature. My body is controlled by that. Question is, where is that system? Where was that system? Is system completely gone? If it has gone, it has completely gone. How had it completely gone? Why there was no guarding? Why there was no pilot to handle this? How it has derailed that system? And who are individuals responsible for that disappearance of system? Why there was no quality on that? And why all other factors which should be applicable on that are not applied? Question comes in, and this takes us to analysis. This takes us to analysis. You have to analyze, synthesize, you have to think. And what is that then? Point comes in. What is that then? First of all, how could we think that we have won over, we have got victory over COVID-19 when it started in 2020 in our country? On what basis we decided that this had gone when it has not even completely arrived? To be very frank, in 2020 when it started in our country, it did not arrive completely. Reason being that our country is very big, north, south, east, west, Kashmir to Kanyakumari and other part crosswise. We are two big nation, and not only big, we are having mammoth population. We have different classes of people too. And why did we fail in conducting tests for everybody? We cannot say tests should not be done. Might be government thought, why should we spend money on testing? Yes, that could be one reason. That could be one analytical answer. Why to waste money on that? That is negative answer. Question is not money here. Question relates to lives of people. If money is to be spent, at least you shall know who is positive. Getting knowledge of who is positive means isolating that person, sending that person to hospital, or forcing him to stay at home. And if testing could tell that, means further expansion, further spread of that infection could be stopped at individual level. In 13 months, even 22%, means every month 1.5% tests. Every month 1.5% tests. Just think of how many months? In 13 months, 21%. Means 1.5% or 1.7% or 1.8%, whatever you can say. Where do we stand? This is first analytical question and another analytical answer. As we say, analysis. So this failure must be considered for you can say I have risk. Why did we not take into our considerations future risk or risk involvement? We just considered cost of testing for those people because all could not pay for testing except middle class people and rich people. Cost might be on our mind, in our heads, but why should government spend cost on poor? That could be one reason. But we have to consider cost of testing to lives of people, or lives of people is more important than cost. So I say till today same problem exists. No plan is available. No national plan is available for testing, and also no plan is available for vaccinations. Testing was one part which failed. Then came up protection or loss prevention. Testing was also a part of loss prevention. Now loss prevention part was taken up through vaccination, inoculation of vaccination. Yes, that is of course a part of loss prevention, but you should have some plan of that. We are 1.3 billion people. 130 crores means we should have 260 crores vaccines. Only then we can move further. It is now, if you take 16 January to February, March, April, May, 16 May is yet to come. So about 4 months means 115 days. In 110 days, if we could vaccine only 10% or 11% or 12% people in both phases 1 and phase 2 vaccination, this means we could do only 1/12. We could do only, means 8 times it would take more. 8 times, this is for both. 8 times means 3 months, and 24 months do you need in this speed? So here risk lies. Even if you take 1 year, risk lies. Even if you take 6 months, risk lies. I think it should be maximum 91 days or 90 days. So you need at least 1.5 crores vaccination per day, and also we need at least 1 crore tests per day. Tests shall give benefit of isolating people, and immediately they can be vaccinated. There should be some engineering procedures, some scientific procedures, system that we have to handle. That system is absent. We don't have that system. So we say, where does reliability lie? Reliability of our system lie. Reliability for our solution lie. This is very much technical question. People should say this is an issue of health. This is issue of people's safety. We have to, it's not natural environment we should worry about. We have to create a social, a national environment which can satisfy everyone to some extent. Yes, someone is working for us, someone is looking out for us. Just stating that self-reliance is answer, this is only a statement that we have to be self-reliant. No, we are not self-reliant. We are self-killer. We are dependent on others. We expect other countries to help us where we wanted to help them. We are keen to help them. Question is, we neither studied this situation before, nor we are studying this situation during its working or during its inaction, and we don't want to study for future. Still, there is no professional who can give us a plan every day ministry publishes. You can see that site. I every day analyze that on my Excel sheet and write report to people. Of course, it's nothing new in that. This is just a combination of various data we get from government and finding out percentages of this and that. And we submit to people a comprehensive statement, which is duty of government to perform, duty of government to publish. When you know, if you provide data and the data not analyzed by you, that's no meaning because everybody cannot understand what data means. It may be print media, it may be television channels. I did not find any reliable source. I every day go through about 15 websites, various newspapers, and television, of course, you know what news is. So there is no input from either of these. In forget government input. There is no intelligent person in government or active person in government in ministry who can analyze this data. Just writing statements in list form. So this is a list from every state about case loads. This is a list of from state of vaccination, and then so many people have been infected, so many have died, and so many are safe. This data is only data availability. This data does not tell anything else. They never publish in by what date testing will be over. Means testing is like as if it's not done. I can say it is minimum. It's you can say rubbish statement. I can say should be that there is no testing at all. No testing is clearly understood. 14 months, 13 months, and 21 or 22% tests. How can you say this is a country? In 14 months, everybody should have been tested. No, it has not been done. So you can say testing is not working. Of course, it's not working. In 14 months, we are blank. 78% people, 77% people are still without test. They are sitting at homes or they are working, I don't know, but they have not been tested, and there is no future expectation that they would be tested. This is horrible, very much horrible, when testing is not done. Okay, if we discover people by testing whether they are infected or they are not infected, the question arises of hospitalization. 90% people or 95% people can be isolated at homes or in temporary accommodations that government could make. Everybody cannot pay for, everybody cannot afford isolation in home because poor people don't have that much room, that many rooms as middle class could have or upper people could have, and everybody is not having money to go to hospital, and hospitals too are not available. So question is criticality, super criticality of this state of COVID. We should not avoid criticism of ourselves. We should criticize ourselves because criticism is not a crime. And if I am criticized by someone who is better than my knowledge, I think I should welcome that criticism. But this strength to digest criticism doesn't exist in our country. If I criticize someone, that person thinks I am his enemy. This is unfortunate. Nobody is enemy for anyone. If positive people are detected, hospitalization is a must. It may be at home or it may be in hospital. So we can say we are short of hospitals, we are short of beds because hospitals are short, beds are short. And of course, when hospitals are not available, of course, medical professionals are not available. So this is a kind of sequence again. How many deaths are there, how many cases are there? This is only statistics now. But statistics tell us what to do in future, what to do now. That only this data can tell. This data, who bothers? Who cares about this? There is no major mathematics involved in that. It's wrong to say that only people don't know mathematics, so they can't analyze. There is nothing as such that mathematics is required. And even some mathematics is required on Excel sheet or other sheet, we can work out very easily. Not even 5% I have seen on news or on Facebook or somewhere else, LinkedIn, where they talk of data. They are talking of engineering, they are talking of seminars, they are talking of this and that so much. Okay, that's part of life. But currently, this is bomb. This is nuclear bomb we are facing. COVID in India, Bharat, now in May, is like nuclear fission. You can say, if I consider COVID particle or COVID unit, which is 0.0002 mm lower than size of clay particle, I consider this as nucleus or atom or electron, you can say, lowest one. If I consider that, you can say there is nuclear fission. This system, this result of so many deaths and proliferation, clearly claims, clearly declares that nuclear fission of COVID-19 particle is ongoing. So this is modern, you can say, thorium or uranium type nuclear fission. Every day so many people are dying and there is no control. People are infecting, there is no control. How shall we control? Till today, no one has decided. Just layman understanding of lockdown, this and that. Lockdown has been there in many states now, but there is no positive answer, positive result. Even after lockdown, cases are increasing. You can take South, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra. These states are burning now in COVID. Burning, I mean to say, are being fired, are being attacked by COVID. Delhi has been attacked very severely. Similarly, UP is being attacked. No clear news from there. You can say likewise, if you take overall picture of COVID, it's very, very disappointing. It's clearly telling us that we are not very serious nation. WHO is very serious about this issue, that if Bharat, India goes like this, it shall give horrific situation to world. It's very much strange that we could not understand this. Very much strange. A country that has so much strength of educated people, health people, engineering people. I don't understand reason behind this. We should worry about political people or we should worry about health of people. We have to decide. For me, political people do not value anything as far as health is concerned. Health of people is more important than strength of political people. Politics keep on going always. For me, it doesn't matter who is Prime Minister. For me, it matters what is the state of people in health. How many people are dead? That's more important to me rather than thinking who is in power seat. I'm not concerned with Prime Minister. It's his job to do. It doesn't apply onto me. If people die and there's nothing available for them, and particularly poor people are not extended medical help, I can consider that there exists no administration, there exists no government. You may take this statement whatever way. The question of national life is concerned. My concern as an engineer is society. My concern as engineer is health. Safety is first. Safety of people. People have been very careless, I know. They have been careless because government has been careless. We did not face many problems, you can say, since COVID started working in our country. We did not face many problems since March, because that time it was just entering this country. COVID just was taking positions, we had to sit, how to sit. But it doesn't mean that it was our effort. We did lockdown, we did so much, but we forgot that we were missing something. And that missing something was conducting tests. People, Every country did that. Every country did that. Even Pakistan did that. America did that. England did that. Europe did that. Gulf countries did that. Far East did that. And we are an exclusive nation in world who just enjoy other issues. We never cared for tests. We never cared for seriousness. Rather than making people think about this, people had been busy in marriages. People had been busy in gatherings. People had been busy in religious affairs. People had been busy in elections. People have been busy in redundant activities. When I say redundant in relation to COVID-19, though not redundant otherwise. Elections are important, marriages are important, all other gatherings are important, provided life is normal. In an abnormal situation, these are curses on us. It could be Kumbh, a curse, it could be marriages, a curse, or it could be gathering, a curse, or whatever religious issues, a curse. I appreciate Gulf countries. Those are called fundamental countries by some people. But see, they did not care for religion. They did not care for Ramadan issues. They did not care for anything. They considered on top level lives of people. And that is called sensible organization of a country. Still today, there are so many controls. So many controls. You go to UAE, you go to Qatar, you go to Kuwait, you go to Saudi, you go to Oman, you go to Bahrain. Controls and controls and controls. I think they spend a lot of money. And still, reports every day come in from these countries that infections are rising. This means I don't understand our people. I don't understand Bharat, India's organization. How they think. To what level we are carefree. I used to say we are sleeping society. We are non-serious society. Time is proving that we are non-serious. Still in this supercritical stage, I find people being careless. Means when I walk on road, I find about 25% to 30%, maybe to 40% citizens do not use personal protective equipment, masks, goggles, even kids, very small kids. Sometimes I ask them on road, where is your PP? They enjoy. Oh, it is at home. Your PP is dancing at home. They enjoy. You can see some old people, youth, both sexes. They are not carefree. They are not careless. They do not care about this. So I say, because communication is very bad, education about COVID-19 is very bad, just saying in some telephones here, that's not enough. People should be adequately educated. That didn't happen. We missed that for 1 year. Now because it's a very serious situation, you will find some television channels debating on this. No, we don't want debate. We don't want debate. We want to protect people. People know. Don't think people don't know. The problem lies there. Psychological situation is very bad now. Psychology has occupied our mind. Yesterday, I got one news from Karnataka, I think. Yes. One journalist, 42 years age, he contracted COVID. And that person was very serious, very emotional. That person was so much worried about COVID-19 that it led him to commit suicide. And he did. He did that. Reason was he thought that he has got COVID, he would not get any hospital admission, You will not get any better oxygen. So why dying there? Why not to die like this? In controlled manner. That person committed suicide. I'm not supporting it. Not at all. Because this is foolishness. But that person concluded like this. Issue is that you think you want to see this state, that people are starting committing suicides. It's not acceptable. Not at all. Not at all. Public should be savior of others. I am not giving this responsibility to government because we don't have that level of competency in government. If government cannot even plan, cannot even declare, what sort of government is that? I can't say. It's not political statement, it is consideration. If my government cannot publish plan of vaccination, plan of testing, I don't consider that they are just some government. Job of government is not just type or make some data entry and give that. That's not job of government alone. This means you are just doing clerical work. You understand what you are saying. Every day they write, we have saved so many people. I don't know what does it mean. You see and see their report. Oh, see, we have saved so many. What do you mean by that? Whom you saved? If you saved them, you killed also them. Then you take that debit also. You write how many we killed. If you say 4,000 people were lost, you also take that responsibility because of ourselves they lost. But you never say that. You say, see how many people are recovered and we gone. Means you again misleading people. You are nothing that they have recovered. There's no recovery from COVID-19. Yes, they are existing, or they are not active in COVID now. It's not because of you. It's because of some other reason. I don't understand this philosophy of government. Job of government is very simple. You have to provide facilities. This is a job. It may be state government, it may be central government. For a citizen, it doesn't matter. For a patient, it doesn't matter who is spending money on him. That person wants to be admitted or stay at home, but support must come from state if that person does not have resources. This is a very important point we have to think, we have to make, we have to understand. Today I wanted to discuss a lot on this, but still so much is left for me to discuss. You may see my postings on Facebook and that I put on script.com, and I link to LinkedIn. You may like to see various files I post every day. I clearly admit now that situation is mountaining and it's out of control. At this stage, even if lockdown is worked upon, it's imposed upon, I don't find something would change until people are tested. If you test people 1 crore a day rather than 15 lakhs or 16 lakhs or 17 lakhs, if you grow at least 1 crore a day, we have now about 130 minus 22%, I think, say 100 crore people still left. If you start testing 1 crore a day, it will take 100 days to test all people. And in 100 days, you shall know who are negative and who are positive, who has to go to hospital or has to be isolated in home. Those can be charted out. Those requirements can be charted out and handled. But that should be clear cut. That should be on plan. But unfortunately, nothing exists. Same applies to inoculation or vaccination, but that too is rare. Panic never helps. Country is going to psychology, negative psychology and panic. Panic is no solution. We should have confidence in ourselves. Our government must be real government, but they are saying they are real. For them, one dies means time is over. No worry, don't worry about that. So, what I should say, immediate assistance is required but cannot be done. They will declare lockout also after some time. That won't serve any purpose, still is not serving any purpose. Yes, as somebody said, that lockdown may produce immediate impact, but it will accumulate impact also. It will accumulate. So my dear friends, I would like to shift now to our other talks, which are also very important in addition to COVID talk. And I can say that I have participated, also come to quality everywhere, which is very important for me, for you, for everybody. If quality everywhere doesn't exist, this means quality doesn't exist. I don't want to see quality only in materials or in products. I want to see quality. Not when I say I, it doesn't mean me personally. Don't think that. When I say I speak on behalf of people, world people, not only our people. I speak on behalf of community, engineering community, considering myself responsible. Even if other engineers are not serious, I least bother, because quality is for everybody, just like safety is for everybody. Quality is higher safety, you can say. I can say higher level of safety, because that safety which we talk of, that is temporary, that is procedural safety, that is executive safety. But this safety I'm talking is permanent safety. Quality and safe work means quality work which doesn't harm others. That is called quality. So situation of quality in COVID is very bad. Why system of non-COVID too is bad. When so many people are in problem, everybody thinks that way, and I too think that way. Had we improved our quality conscious, I am sure we would not have faced so many encounters with COVID. I know that COVID cannot help people. It has come to teach people. That's also true. It is teaching us. It has to teach us. But what teaches us is very important. As I state in this string, if you see quality everywhere, you see designs, then construction, then method statements, performance and time, costs, risks, reliability, analysis, synthesis, and thinking, contemplation, and it's on top. You can say, and is engineering. Engineering, which you always be proud of. Oh, my son is engineer, I am engineer. We are always proud of that. It's okay, be proud, no problem. We can be proud, we can have pride, we can have pride. That's different matter. So I'll close this copy now for time being. Quality means final product. Quality system, quality product, quality person, quality group, quality instrument, quality product, quality system, quality life. We say quality everywhere. We deserve, we demand. But do we get it? Quality construction. This is the root of everything. Wherever construction is involved, construction, if there is quality, if there exists quality, well, I think everything shall be qualified for quality. If construction does not contain quality, that construction should be, I can say, that construction should be condemned. Of course, it is a very strong word, but that should be condemned. It should not. You may always criticize me. You can criticize me, no problem. Criticism is a way of life. If I receive criticism constructively, if I receive criticism constructively, criticism changes its designation, its shape to teacher. This means I convert those ideas which are passed to me through criticism. Those ideas help me improve because I feel a kind of guilt on that. If I don't take that criticism, this means I am not a constructive person. Why should someone criticize? That point is very important. Why should someone criticize me or my work? Actually, it's not me, it's not myself that is criticized, it's work that is criticized. If somebody criticizes me in person, that is different way, maybe my friend or that my relative. But as far as journalist is concerned, work is criticized, or you can say approach is criticized, or you can say methods we use in life, those are criticized. Methods. Or designs are criticized, or constructions criticized, you can say. Ultimately, performance is criticized. What expected performance levels, what are expected performance levels when we do not achieve or people do not find those achieved levels, they started talking, it's like criticizing. Maybe they are not perfect in criticism, but they say it's wrong, it's right, or fail or pass. We should consider that as an opportunity that somebody is my friend. Criticizing friend, or you can say critics. Friend whose critics is like person, good person, I can say, that at least that person thought of me or my work. That person had a time to review my activities, and there is something wrong in my work, with the method, the performance. There's something which is erroneous, or maybe I consider that right or correct, but community, or you can say people, I'm not talking for my country alone, I'm talking for world, that somewhere something is wrong. That's why people are saying maybe that is right for me but not for that person, and maybe that person requires lesson. So explanation should be given about my work, my method, whichever use, should be logical, should be pointed, expressive, and it should tell others that you are missing this right way. This method statement is very important for me, for you, for engineers. And if it has not been important till now, it should be made important. Now consider, had we generated some method statement in March 2020 about how to handle this, certainly this method would have been theory by now. Method, whatever we adopted that time or could adopt, and keeping abreast moment of this issue, we could adjust that method or alter that method. And that method by now would have become a reference document, a reference activity, a reference procedure, professional procedure, history. But we miss that. And for me, for engineering, methods are methods. It's not simply method means method, we say. It's a way of working. If you do not know method, we will move randomly. Is that you want to study mathematics? You don't know what's the syllabus, you don't know what to study. And this is my class teacher did not tell what to study. I cannot study. People think that. They forget. In mathematics, life is practice. Just like in medical, practice is important. In engineering, practice is important. In learning mathematics, practice is important. You cannot say tomorrow my examination is and today I have to finish, I have to understand everything. You can never pass mathematics like that, because mathematics is calculation. It requires your concentration of mind, it requires your knowledge, and it requires seriousness, because maths is such a subject which destroys my sleep. If there's remains some confusion in whatever numerical of mathematics or whatever problem you try to solve, there is a mix up in that, you can't solve it. Of course there are procedures for calculations which you can amend according to every requirement, and that is at every step. Here when I say calculation, this doesn't mean mathematical calculation, this also means relative references or relative consequences, relative sequences, relative formula. All these are involved in method statements for purpose of performance, and if I cannot perform or I cannot find that level of product in my system, doesn't exist as system. It's like accidental breakdown, and that accidental breakdown cannot be accommodated. So we have to be very serious about method statements, and that's the reason that I after having contemplations long, after working on many projects, I had to work on method statements as an engineer. It's the responsibility of engineer. Whatever level you are, if you cannot perform like that, that means something is gone. I'm not going to spend more time on methods now. I'm going to, for example, we did construction controls yesterday. We were on mobilization, fencing, etc. we talked of. Then we talked of materials and manpower, also workforce, equipment, then procurement, and then now I will start at equipment. Let us say, though it is for mobilization, but it gives some idea. Says equipment necessary for inclusion. Equipment necessary for inclusion on project permanently requires considerable input, and this very important aspect. Considerable input from authorization, feed, stages, and performance stages. And before this we did about mobilization, and that mobilization means arrangement of site security, and before all, taking over construction area, plot, and also we have to arrange everything during mobilization period so that it's faster, it's safe, and people who comes look sight from that very angle. When we say in mobilization, we have to mobilize human resources. This means we have to take care of human resources facilities, and those human resources of all classes, including managers and directors. We must have certain plan of camp where we are going to stay. It may be at site or it may be off site, and that must be facilitated properly. All facilities are required there which are required for normal life, like housing, like accommodation of food, and like concentrating on your acts. Food facility is very important. If we don't have good food for people, our people shall start losing their health or their survival. They will fall sick, and in this situation then winds and rain have no equality. It shall become very hard, very difficult to handle that. So in mobilization, we consider every element that would work temporarily. It is site takeover, it is site surveying for establishments of record data, or you can say for resourcing what drawing says. Then you can say this material and one's design. One say materials we control, machines we control, sites we control, protection we control, security we control, people we control, transport we control. There's nothing that's left there which cannot be controlled. Whatever we control, we should control. Nobody stops us from that. We have to take these points into our mind, that whatever resources are required for project, those resources must be classified and must be approved by yourself as engineer, by your leader of organization, and on top of all by employer or employer representative. This should be clear. As far as non-resources are concerned, like resource here, we cannot simply conclude this so simply. We know we took part in material submissions, we had to submit materials, we had to submit manpower, we had to submit our staff levels, we had to submit all these materials that are being resorted to, because COVID doesn't say anybody. So we say all we did in before talks. We are now going to procurement, for example. Procurement is very important activity as far as commerce of material is concerned. Non-uniform, non-dress people. If we can't do as we should do, nobody can do that for us. When we say procurement, this is very big element and very expensive element. Procurement. It's not just I go to market and buy something. It's not that. It's a complete procedure with references. Reference, I mean context, device. It's a device in something. Procurement means to supply to site all materials, equipment and process components, from requirements scheduling, vendor selection, quotation, invitations, shortlisting, quotations, specification matches, financial viability, approvability, warranties, applications, and then final decisions based on quotation that fits within budget and items be best for optimum performance according to requirement of contract. It's like that. This statement is very, very clear, you can read. But what does actually say? To be very frank, first consideration is time. You have to see that whatever material procurement we are processing in, we should reach on that defined time. Then is question of quality, internal quality, and we say these are pro-conditions for quality. These are conditions that unit group have to suffer. Have to suffer in a way that if material is not available, what shall I do with this material? With this material of no resources. So this is a procedure, as you can say, material requirement or equipment process starts at what is this equipment for, what's the requirement, what's the specifications for what is required, and is that worth our specialists to know what sort of equipment we will buy depending on requirement, how to select that which vendor, we have to invite something. Means we have to solely depend on designs, we have to depend solely on requirements, and then not. Everybody has its own scope of working, but specification is very important for materials. Especially very important, and designs may be important. Both are important. Whatever vessel we are going to buy, whatever equipment we are going to buy, should be based on some design. Perfection means if it's not perfect, if it's not expert machine or vessel or whatever we buy, it will not fit in our purpose. Question is not signature here, question is the performance. It can perform, but cannot perform. That's the point here. So this says that procurement means to supply to site all material, equipment, and process commences from requirement, scheduling, vendor selection, quotation, invitation, shortlisting, specifications, matches, financial viability, approvability, warranties, application, and service. Then we can say every company, organization has established own procedures meeting guidelines of international quality system, according to which full operation, full corporate management or organization is involved for procurement organization, procurement procedures practically affected by procurement and by or it's therefore worrisome if companies maintain some system but products are not quality based. There's a worry about that. Or we have to assume that product is quality one. This means there is no consideration of analysis. We don't value analysis, but we just value everybody needs money, everybody is hungry for food. So I have a solution. That solution is what? I have a solution. Follow what is given. Be serious. Don't take it otherwise. If you cannot do that, don't take responsibility. It says every company organization has established its own procedures meeting guidelines of international quality procedures, and then according to which full corporate organization full corporate organization is involved for procurement organization practically affected by procurement organization or leader or working engineer of corporate part of company organization management. This department involves with itself for complete operations sequence from estimations to of items, quantities through delivery to site and taking up issues to insurances in case of transportation damage. Now during tender stage itself, expected items are invited for quotations for specialized and important disciplines with negotiations conducted, and in certain cases even pre-bid procurement of agreement are reached subject to successful project award. Later on, subject to condition that work is awarded to tender, work is awarded to tender bidder, further procedure continues with final and confirmed current quantities are worked out based on engineer's approval of proposed material or machine, which is separately applied prior to placement of procurement order. Now this is very time consuming process as submission unused. Just getting approval by representative or by engineer is a procedure, is a part of procedure. Or keeping sample is only a part of. This is very time-consuming process, as I said. Submissions, comments, rejection, incorporation, comments, pre-approval, etc. All are stages. All activities. We always say that we should do best work. We should do best equipment to buy, to procure. And it's already given internationally. When we say, sometimes I think in between I speak, I cannot speak, but I was written on the speaker, I don't understand that first. A process involves initially complete package, submission, meeting, to find documentation, etc. All we have to do is very much novel. Competent and experienced engineer may give a process. You can see this is west where everything is different. We should be very smart in procurement and placing orders much advanced than this purchase. This procurement is something that can be varied. Why should we stick to one? We have to open to all those. We have to understand that a competent and experienced engineer should be involved to carry out all such procedures, for technicalities are to be resolved during conducting whole exercise. If we don't have So question arises here, what we have to do? We got quotation, we got everything, but we are not sure of. And moreover, it's contractor that shall be held responsible according to provisions written on service. Then a comparative statement is prepared giving full technical as well as financial with feasibility of timely manufacture, delivery and financial matters. Now, I'm not going to speak of a certain, but I should say that material approval process is very smart and lengthy. We have to see that procurement is taken up by a section, is independent, but that section must be alerted all time that due to procurement absence or due to delay in procurement, whole project is going to be impacted upon this point. Work always moves on as we want it to move. It's said that work always where do we stand when we perform? Where do we stand? What is necessity of writing these statements if we don't want to touch them? We may say that this we cannot oppose. We have no right to oppose. Because it's engineer's requirement. It is engineer's requirement that tells Message update. If procedures are not very explanatory but comprehensive, those people who are practical on site for, say, underground services, they just see. So, what I've experienced on projects is very much interesting also. It's very much interesting that you have to struggle with circumstances. You have to struggle with everything. Only then you can get something. Otherwise you won't get something. You have to burn your blood pressure. You have to burn your body temperature. You have to use whatever way. Physical conditions, before that, schedule should also be agreed by engineer and adherence to agreed dates required be complied with, adhered to until unforeseen circumstances are relevant to daily works. Now, physical conditions, on contracts. Physical conditions on contracts. I'm yawning actually. Maybe you're surprised when talking them. I like to talk to you people, even when I don't feel happy. Now mobilization say is complete. We have to start project. We have to start permanent works for which actual contract is meant for. Actual contracts for permanent work. Civil discipline construction leads generally on all projects. We say civil discipline construction leads generally on all projects, which requires availability of all approved drawings, or you can say availability of all approved for construction drawings. Then circulated issues issued under control. This is under control of relevant supervisors, engineers, for purpose of supposed to correctly prosecute works according to contract requirement. Whatever works we do, it is all to be done in accordance with standards, in accordance with specifications, and in accordance with drawings of construction. We say if civil engineering is defeated, I think there is nothing else left. You know, as we said, availability of all approved drawings must be circulated to everybody who is responsible, and it must be in custody of top person, engineer. It's engineer on site. If your drawing is not ready, how can you do job? Sooner commencement means better perspective to save project time and money. But if drawing is not available, you cannot do anything. We have to understand what we have to do. It's not that I like something I do or someone else likes something not to do. What is important is families are families and construction family is very different. There is no consideration of faith and religion. Now, such issues are tackled with different methods. In APCI case, design matters very much and should also be properly coordinated to keep in line, keep in line A to facilitate AC construction. It's a matter of time that I'll be taking for examination what should be done. In fact, meanwhile, you can just think on something if you can. we come to a stage that mobilization is over and we have to start physical construction, we have to manage everything. We have to manage whole show, construction. That is very important one. Very important one, and we have to think about that. I can say that all dependent on what should be done. Award, execution program as we are talking of, and on top of that we can say safety, health and environment, safety plans, training, induction, housekeeping, supervising safety, heat stroke, toolbox stocks, skilled workers, liquid consumption of food, liquid consumption, dust prevention, sanitary, regular courses, special courses, safety talks, safety walks, risk analysis, safety, respecting heavy equipments, awards, audits, SAFO, SAPAN, Optan. All these are very important points that we have to be clear with. And of course we can say then controls. When we say physical construction starts, what does it mean? Means we can say, as I was talking about procurement is heart of, it's limbs of, it's you can say it's a total anatomy of project. A project cannot be done without procurement. You have to realize this. Procurement of every item, procurement of every requirement, procurement of all resources, procurement of material, procurement of machines, procurement of working people, you call human resources, procurement of those working people who belong to others, they may be called subcontracting people, and procurement of you can say such activities which can't be measured in terms of money value, and those are technical activities, those are engineering activities in terms of office engineering, in terms of quality engineering, in terms of safety engineering, in terms of scheduling engineering or planning engineering, in terms of contract engineering, or whatever you think applies independently, individually, and for sure. So procurement cannot be defined in a few paragraphs as I've done. It's just indicative, and thinking door never closes. You know that. Thinking door must never close, because thinking is formula, thinking is procedure, thinking is research, and thinking is search. If you think something seriously, you will seriously get an answer. This is my understanding. If you think seriously equal to you shall get answer, or think seriously equal to answer seriously. You may say, how? Do it yourself, then tell me. If I think on whatever item, but my requirement is My ticket is that I have to keep thinking. It's not that I start thinking for half minute and then stop forever. That's not thinking. You know, thin and thick. You know this meaning? What is thick, what is thin? Now it says thin king. Let us understand. Thin, thin, and king, King. What does it mean? It's my own analysis, or you can say analytical or article meaning of this verb think. Think in process, thinking. This means if you start thinking, your first time thinking may be broad, your second time thinking may be little broad, third time may be further little broad, fourth time it will be further little broad, and maybe fifth time it shall become in control. It may control you, or it may control subject, or it may control whole procedure, because you have thought 5 times. Then it becomes duty of nature to continue it to 6th one, because if you repeat something, practice it again and again and again, and just repeat it all time sincerely, you shall enter into different world. And that is reason that I have taken this verb thinking into this talk, into quality issue, that thinking never stops. It never charges you. Your mind doesn't send you a bill or a claim that you pay, just like sun doesn't send you a bill. Sun never charges. Similarly, air doesn't charge. Sky doesn't charge. So thinking is a sky, you can say. Thinking means sun, and thinking means air. Thinking means water. Water in sea or water in river doesn't charge you anything. It's water that you have to drink, you have to pay. But water that is in air, that is rain or humidity, they never charge you anything. So what I mean to state here is that thinking is free of cost, and everybody should be happy if you are given something free of cost. You use air every day, every moment, it's free of cost. You use sun rays whole day, it's free of cost. And you use rain when it's free of cost. So what else? And you can use your mind to think, this is also free of cost. Yes, you have to take food, you have to make strong, you must have ability to think a lot. You have to make, your thinking an aptitude. I don't say you'll get results. Aptitude is must. You are intelligent, you are educated, but thinking has no limit. Thinking tells us life. Those who think logically, they keep problems off. I don't say problems are over. The problems are diminished, diluted, because problem knows person can think for me. And That's where I say thinking is of utmost importance. Thinking is not brittle like plastic, no. Thinking is very, very reliable. Even if it may be brittle, it won't break. Even it may be watery, it won't give you pressure. Thinking, even if it is like sun, it won't harm you. Thinking should be taken in that perspective. And if you befriend thinking, I think you will be very happy person. You will be very happy. I am sure you will be very happy if you befriend thinking. It's not philosophical talk I am giving you. It's the reality of life. There can be no substitute of thinking. That's why when I talk to you, sometimes I don't even plan what to talk to you. That is nothing new for me. It's nothing new for me. When I used to do my job, employment, myself, in services, in companies, overseas, on projects, I never ever planned what to do. Or even if I planned, I used to plan in my mind. I used to plan in mind only. And that was very different aspect. I never used to tell others what I'm going to do tomorrow or within a couple of weeks. That is my habit. Because I always keep in mind that my mind has something. And I'm telling you for everything, for everyone, same, applies same. And I consider that my mind is full or my mind is hungry and my mind can plan on my behalf. If I conceive like that, my mind understands. Because my mind that I am having is controlled by my soul. My soul doesn't tell me directly to me what should be done, but it forces me to do something. Even if I sleep or I don't sleep, it does it work. Sometimes I find that something has come to my mind on its own, and that is, very reliable. If mind does something that is very reliable, it's of course reliable. Mind gives me something, it must be respected. I can't condemn it if my mind gives something. My mind gives something means God gives me something, because in this mind God also resides, my soul resides, my thoughts reside, my conscious reside, my body control resides. We have to take it into consideration and convert these properties to our job, our engineering, or whatever job we do. When we say luck, yes, luck works, but this is luck. If luck was on only issue in life, then we should not have mind. Body minus mind can be equal to luck, fortune or misfortune. But that's not case. Mind exists. Yes, I don't condemn luck. Luck also exists. But luck cannot work on its own. Fortunes or misfortunes cannot work on their own. They will do whatever they have to do, scheduled they are, programmed they are. benefit or privilege that we have got from our God is that mind. Why they say don't mind please, or why they say mind it please? These are same resemblance. But if you sometime analysis, when you are isolated, you are sitting, you are thinking, and some questions came automatically to your mind, and out of many questions, answers to you get. There's no consideration here of something else. Human being has been gifted with quality of mind, with quantity of mind, with system of mind. Only requirement on behalf of human is to stabilize it, to control it, to, you can say, potential it. If you can concentrate, it is potential. If you can think, it is potential. If you can think continuously for hours, it is potential. You will be surprised to say, can you think for continuously? Can you think for hours? Yes, you can think. If your potential is great, if your mind is great, you can think. And that thinking I want to use in my life. It may be my job in engineering, or maybe otherwise. It may be construction, it may be designs, it may be planning, or it can be whatever else, and other professionals too. All are considered intellectuals in world of professional, in world of profession. Soul doesn't mean anything. You can say emotions don't mean anything in profession. Only mind weighs, mind and idea weighs. That point we have to understand, because we are talking of physical construction, and physical construction means lot of thinking. Well, thinking because we are going to use material, human resources, equipment, and all other resources which are required. Our duty is to use them. Our duty is to use them rightly. And who is in lead there to do that? And that is mind. It may be one mind or two mind, not all mind, but all minds are there to receive you. If I have solution, which I must have, I have to deliver that solution. I have to achieve something from that. And that's where it lies in. Hold a minute, please. Just a minute, let me open door and come back. surprise. I should not surprise, and you should also not surprise when something happens unexpectedly. And generally, you should know that when something happens unexpectedly, and when something happens expectedly, you will find surprise in something that doesn't happen expectedly. When you think you expect something and it doesn't come to that way, you will find difficulty. But when something happens unexpectedly, you say, I'm surprised. Life is like that. Sometimes you plan something, it doesn't work that way when you are oversure, you are overconfident. But when something does, you did not think of that, it happens. Then you are amazed. You say, where's logic in that? You know what happens? When you are devoted to something, some work, you think about that work. What do you think? Only you are thinking? You are thinking because somebody else is also thinking. This is not psychological statement. This is real statement. I think from my physical brain, but there is another brain which is working behind that physical brain, and it's soul brain. My soul controls me. It is also engineering. My soul controls me, and that soul knows what I am doing. That soul is my friend, my teacher, my guide. Sometimes whole day I don't have answers for some problem. Because of many reasons, my all brain cells remain busy. And when I relieve myself. It may be in bad time or it may be in good time. I get some relief. My active cells settle, and surprisingly, I get answers. I could not understand this whole day. This is very simple. It happens in calculations. I was designing this structure. I did everything. I could not get answer. I put all values in, but there's some error which I could not locate. I could not identify. Very minor error could be decimal error or could be something else. And which, because when you work, you program yourself also. You know that. Sometimes it happens with me. Something we do daily or usually we practice it. And when I say, I've done it, but my mind says, no, you did miss something. Go and check it. And if I go and check it, I find really something is missing. So this is what I'm saying about construction procedures. It's not one person job. When we are one, I'm one and I work, I think, I can miss there as well. It's because mind is very fast. Thinking mind is always very fast. Sometimes it is so faster that you forget sometimes also. It's so faster that you forget what you thought 1 minute back. People may call it aged and he forgot. No, it's not question of aged. It's not question of forgetting. It's programmed like that. Your mind is full. There is no memory left, and you don't enlarge your RAM of mind, or you don't have any hard disk or flash disk for your mind. You don't have that. What do you do? But if you compare it to a baby age child, school going, whose brain is full of other entertainments, not of education, it's very difficult for baby also to remember some poem or understand formula for mathematical derivation. That doesn't forget because his mind is not full of that mathematics. But it's also difficult for that child to remember. So what the child does, the child crams everything, doesn't think of, just cram it. Both powers are same. My mind is program of that child is not. That child is hollow in program because he doesn't find any interest in program. There's no sequence for that child, but I have sequence because I'm grown up and I'm a professional. My job is to think. There is no profession in this world where thinking is not required. It's required. And my job to professional is to think. So when I am thinking now about construction, it gives more and more input. This more and more input is my wealth, not in terms of money, but in terms of potential. So we say physical construction is dependent on spiritual construction, soul construction. There is one schedule we have to plan project. It's called schedules for planning. It's named bar chart or it's named CPM or part of whatever. That is formal. That is contractual, you have to do it, or that is in specifications. But there's another one that works for me all the time. Believe me, I have done many projects. We got approval of all schedules, bar charts, but I don't remember that I followed that sometimes. I don't know. Yes, it was all time online, or even our progress was ahead, or sometimes behind also. But I never refer to that once I worked on that. You may raise this question, why are you talking like this? Yes, I'm talking like that because it happened. Once you do something yourself, automatically it goes into your mind. It doesn't matter you follow it, don't follow you. My mind will force you to follow that. And it can be detracted as well, doesn't matter, it will detract. Because when you imagine something, we'll do this on site, that time site doesn't exist there. It's only plan or it's imagination. We assume something that's not going to work practically. Oh, we assume, okay, this is 100% time for this project. I take this 1 month for this and 2 months for that. 1 month at beginning of project and 2 months at end of project. And I take middle time for all activities. I take this time for structure, this time for finishing, this time for AC, this time for X. All this we fix ourselves without any specific formula, because formula exists by experience. It's no mathematical derivation that you can try. It's your own work. So I used to devise my own formula. Okay, I start to take unit of my RCC. My RCC quantity is this much, say 5,000 cubic meter for example, or 10,000 cubic meter for example. I have to finish in the period of 2 years or 1 year. So I take uniformity in my work. I want my work uniform, not fluctuating, because even if it fluctuates on plan, I have to balance it. So rather I take it, okay, I consider this much concrete to be done. I'm saying concrete, all members concrete, foundation, columns, beams, all. In this period, let us say 60 to 70% of period, and average comes to so many cubic meter per day. And we have, by experience, some answer that per cubic meter would be so many square meter of shutters, so many people can do, so many carpenters can do, so many steel fixers can do. So we just chatted out something in our mind. Uniformity is very important in balancing project. You can't say today I need X amount of persons, tomorrow I need 2X amounts, next day I need 3X amounts. This doesn't work. You have to make a team You have to procure that team and you have to use that team. Of course, there are balances. Of course, sometimes somebody is sick, somebody is not sick. That's different. But overall, balance is a must. If I put that balance in my considerations, and based on that I find balances of, is this my carpenter team, for example, shuttering carpenters, formwork carpenters, and in proportion to that I require so many steel fixers. I'm just giving an example. It doesn't mean you do that. Depending on experience, depending on our own. So we have so many carpenters, means so many associates with them. We have so many steel fixers, they have so many associates with them. And likewise, so many masons are required for brickwork or block work or tile work. So many plumbers are required in proportion. So many electricians are required. So many duct workers are required. So many wood workers are required for doors and windows, or aluminum workers are required. So those are all secondary jobs for subcontractors. But unit is known, and that is from that group. So I have put that group for whole structural duration. This means that group is a kind of formula. I don't go to formula book, no need, because work culture is different. Real work culture and book work culture have a lot of difference. Because books were written by those who never have been on sites. Unfortunate it is. Site people do not have any interest in writing anything because maybe they are tired or they have no concentration on writing. And that's weakness in profession. If our professions don't concentrate and write, they miss a lot. They distance themselves from intellectuals. They are intellectuals, I don't say that. But interaction of intellectuals is also very important. If an engineer is not able to write in a comprehensive way, that engineer misses something, and same thing applies to medico. If they medico generally miss, you'll find 98% medicals can't write except prescriptions. And same applies to engineers. Here 98, I said 99% can't write. Writing is your own mind. And because in engineering, formula are very important, numericals very important, theory is very important, and tutorial is very important. I think text is not valued. Text is not valued. And that is only reason I can give that engineers fail in administration because of that. Engineers fail in coordination because of that. Engineers fail in communication because of that. But that's a part of engineering, don't forget. Coordination, communication, interaction, and all such activities are very much integrated part of profession, which you miss. Means if you want to value your profession, you have to learn everything, and that's very important. Learning doesn't mean somebody will teach you. No, you don't require a teacher. You are your own teacher. It's only initiative you have to take, but you don't take initiative. So what happens? Your script, your language tells others what level you are. You are high level, you know maths, you know your theories, you know practicals, you know designs, you know construction, you know everything. But problem lies in detailing them. Problem lies in, yes, engineer can understand engineer's writing, foreman, others, they may not understand, but practical we understand. It lies in that because we are unable to write and record them, even if we write something in our daily job records, we write brief, and that doesn't give anything to anybody. Experience we can't write, which should be written, because experience means your experience. Your experience is valuable, everybody's experience is valuable. It's valuable for whom we say valuable? It's valuable for those who want to learn through you. Learn through what? Through you. How can they learn? Yes, your junior may learn from you for a couple of days in a week while with you, but that learning is not adequate because learning will be comprehensive. Communication is very important in profession. Communication, coordination. Communication, coordination, value of time, value of cost, and value of work done. Therefore, my concentration always remains on texting or writing, which I think is good for. I'm not saying I did a lot, but sometimes I do. And I take opportunities whichever is available, or I create opportunity for me that I have to do this today. And when I start doing something, you decide something to do in morning time, that something would bring something else also when you follow it up. And that something else will bring another something else. So likewise you can say you will, in place of one file, you may have to open 4 or 5 files just to read certain report, or to raise certain questions, or to do something else, or to write some query, or to write some statement. It is mandatory that you should have complete information pertinent to that issue, and if you don't have complete information, you will not be able to survive in that question. Physical construction on management and contracts is very important task. Though people consider it site engineering task, but I think it's very important task. Think on design, think on drawing is one part of difficult work, but more difficult is prosecution of that work, implementation by construction of that work. That's why we call physical construction, somebody call practical construction, and somebody may call something else. Whatever you call, it doesn't matter. What matters is how do you work. That matters. Physical work and you can say control work. When I say physical work, now what did we do? We mobilized, right? We mobilized, and time comes to commence permanent works, for which mobilization is done and for which actual contract is meant for. Now, certainly civil construction, civil discipline, civil engineering construction leads everywhere to whatever scale. It may be small, it may be big. Suppose you are doing mechanical construction, structural, steel structure, or something else. You have to make foundation first, whatever case may be. You have to make some foundation for that activity, without which nothing is possible. I'm not talking of manufacturing, I'm talking of site work, I'm talking construction work. Civil engineering has to come in lead, like safety comes in lead. Even civil comes second to safety. Safety comes first. I can't enter a site, I can't enter a working zone without safety PPEs. You have to understand this point. Even if there is no necessity of hard hat, I have to use. So likewise, you have to sequence it. When we say we lead in construction. This means construction drawings must be available. Construction drawings must be available, and sooner we construct, sooner we commence, it's better for all. Keeping in line with approved program. Keeping in line with approved program is not easy. Not easy, not at all. Keeping in line is not easy because your program, you made it, nobody else. What resources are required? We have to chart out, because no activity can move without availability of resources. And your schedule, you did. If your schedule misses procurement of resources for that time, how shall you procure? That's what I say. Experience on construction is a mandate. Experience on construction is a must if you want to construct successfully. Drawing is there, your schedule is there, but someone to implement that doesn't exist. And you cannot say, I'm not responsible, because it's your duty. I understand. If you are young, and we can't expect young to do everything. But job is job. You are young or you are old, it doesn't matter. Job is job. How to handle it, how to move it, we usually call progress moving, project is moving. How it is moving? Did you ever think of? Yes, it moves. Of course. Project moves. It moves successfully. It moves drastically when progress is on. This means homework is there. Our program, our schedule is comprehensive. Whoever reads it understands what's required. Designs, if are required, it's another problem. You have to design first and approve that design through employer. And once it's approved, you can start your site. All designs matter, must be properly coordinated to keep in line to facilitate easy construction. There could be a case that due to whatever reasons, whatever circumstances, some portion of contract cannot be prosecuted. What should be done? What should be done? That is the job of leader. You have to find an alternative. Suppose I am not able to do here some job. Suppose at one point I am not able to do, then I should have an alternative so that my available resources are not wasted. They should be immediately somewhere relocated. It's not that civil engineering is not that easy as it looks. It's not concrete or brick. It is engineering. it requires basic works to be done on site, in which trade persons, semi and unskilled workforce along with all materials are required and must be available. So let us read this first, what this statement says, and then we'll talk, because I was just speaking something maybe from my mind. I will speak again. Who's there? Good morning, Mr. Verma. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks a lot. Let me wish him better. Let me read this first and see how it works. That's important here. Let me see how it works. Yes. Now, after having mobilization done, time comes for commencement of permanent works, for which actual contract is meant for. It's definite that civil discipline construction leads generally on all projects. This requires availability of all approved for construction drawings circulated or issued under control to relevant supervisors or engineers for purpose to correctly prosecute works according to contract requirements. Sooner commencement means better perspective to save project time and money. Every site leader should endeavor plans with support of schedule engineer to keep at least in line with approved program. So what I say, sooner commencement means better perspective to save project time and money. Every site manager or project manager should endeavor plans with support of schedule engineer to keep at least in line with the approved program, if not advanced. For this attainment, all necessary resources availability should be properly coordinated. For EPIC case, all design matter should also be properly coordinated to keep in line to facilitate easy construction. There may be a case when, due to some unavoidable circumstances, some portion of contract cannot be prosecuted. Project manager leader should immediately find an alternative portion to replace prosecution, so as to keep an equivalent proportion of progress intact. Civil engineering part of contract is not that easy, for it requires basic works on site involving trade practice this process. Relevant engineers can say civil engineering part of contract. I repeat, there may be a case when due to some unavoidable circumstances, some portion of contract. There may be a case when due to some unavoidable circumstances, some portion of contract cannot be prosecuted. Project leaders should immediately find an alternative portion to replace prosecution, so as to keep an equivalent proportion of project progress intact. Civil engineering part of contract is not that easy, for it requires basic works on site involving tradespersons, semi and skilled workforce as along with materials in site. Relevant engineers supporting on site should be well experienced and proactive to take up responsibility for results orientation deliveries. A well coordinated approach is necessary. A well coordinated approach is necessary for there could be many instances requiring on-site decision to resolve technicalities that must be immediately affected, meeting requirement and properly recorded as part of field office engineering. Physical construction requires a concentrated as well as diverse attention of quality assurance and control sections department or site. There should be no delay on this account for approvals and constant inspection. Attendance should be ensured whenever necessary on a fast track project. Every activity is inspected according to inspection and test plans based on a checklist and percentage witness. Hold point should be released when activity is on. So hold point should be released when activity is on that status. Hold point should be released when activity is on that status. Most jobs are based on concreting constituting very important element of contract. Very important element of contract, for which quality assurance should take proper attention for this on-site operation. It should also be noted that while civil engineering activities are prosecuted on site, simultaneously on a foreign station or in a foreign land, other discipline activities, for example, production of equipment, pre-engineered parts of structure and other procurable items might be under manufacturing process, demanding factory testing according to procedures approved. Quality controls, you can say quality requirements and quality control should take into consideration proper inspection, attendance there as well, under supervision or surveillance of witness, of engineer or experts, for acceptance of factory products as level 1 and completion of parts in factory or manufacturing place as level 2 inspection prior to equipment is shipped to site location. It's no use should equipment be rejected after delivery on site. Now let us see something in contract here and then we'll take up this issue. It's very wide now. It's very wide term on industrial projects, contracts, which is contract organization or contract management. Basically, it's main contract that requires well-established professional management. or organization, but also covers various subcontracts as well as services contracts. Requirement of complete knowledge of relevant laws or linked laws, you can say, procedures and coordination, correspondence is extremely significant for performance of contract issues. It's not just one discipline, but from beginning of project and until post completion, contract organization or management would be required to be applied and represented on site as well as in home office. For resolutions of many contractual complexities, this term also covers a wide part of documentations to be prepared for dealing with contract disputes. Adjudication board currently and forming future arbitration basis as well as proceedings. It may involve costing effects. Claims, extras, extension of time claims, additional contractual obligations, contractual correspondences, dealing with suspension of activities or parts on project or project as a whole, and many more legal affairs requiring resolutions on contract or subcontracts as well as services part of low tier vendors. This term is very complex as its proper implementation necessitates contracts manager or leader know with proper understanding engineering construction coordinations and relevant contractual and general laws applications on contracts. Construction project management continues here. Project site leader or construction manager or if project engineer be authorized for this responsibility got very leading and significant obligation to dispose of on a daily and hourly basis. What's going on site is direct responsibility for accountability. Daily, weekly, monthly programs as well as all discipline coordination are a must for speeding up operations. Then also comes into play duty to arrange and coordinate materials as well as other resources to be utilized on project. Attendance on engineering construction, safety and other meeting is a must. Now, project site manager or construction manager or project engineer be authorized for this responsibility got very leading and significant obligation to dispose of on a daily basis and hourly basis what's going on site's direct responsibility for accountability. Daily, weekly, monthly programs as well as all discipline coordination are a must for speeding up operations. Then also comes into play duty to arrange and coordinate materials as well as other resources to be utilized on project. Attendance on engineering, construction, safety and other meetings a must. Outcome of construction depends on efforts of construction team, coordination with all team members as well as team members of engineer client is a must. Coordination with all sections of site, team and home office teams as well as procurement are very significant. Physical construction. Convert drawings into physical work. You have to construct details on many drawings, on many specifications, on many method statements, or whatever document do you have, standards, codes, standard drawings. You have to convert them into physical world, into a system which we call mechanical work. For example, RCC is produced. Until it was not done, it was material, and when it's solidified, consolidated something, it's a mechanical system. Building formation, framing is a system. It's a system, mechanical system to transfer actions on those slabs and forces on those buildings to go to soil below. That mechanical system, though we don't call it mechanical system, but it is mechanical because it's a kind of machine. It performs. A structural machine it is, though it's not machine in that sense, but it performs. It performs better than machine. Machine performs only for production, but it is already produced. So production, it's a product which has to perform for 100 years probably. So it's super product. It's a super machine. It doesn't need any start. It doesn't need any put off. It doesn't need any electrical supply. It grows on its own. It grows on its own. For everybody living in that area, it grows, it works. So when you say after mobilization is done, we have to start converting our drawings or details, everything to physical work, which is called mechanical work, or you may call it physical work, doesn't matter. To do that, you require complete scheduling, complete statements, complete procedures. You have to train people in safety, in health. You have to train people in activities, in physical activities. You have to tell them how to keep safe, how to cure, how to cut and go from morning to evening, all sides. It's very important, because if you don't do that, it's not that you will suffer, everything will suffer. Even if it is civil work, it's going to take mechanical work on this. It's going to take some power plant on this. It's going to take some turbine on this. It's going to take something else, some silo, some vessel, some equipment, anything. So it should be that level. The cost of mechanical equipment may be much more than civil work. Cost is not questionnaire. Questionnaire acts by those who popularly. The question arises how to concentrate on that. It's a long discussion. It's not discussion that I've written here. It's a long discussion. We have to concentrate on that, and we would. It's not just what I've written on these 7 pages or in other pages. It's just a shortcut to let you understand what we mean. It may be construction contract, it may be UPIC contract, it may be EPC contract. We will link to all those through this talk. It's very important we have to understand this, or otherwise it's our failure. We cannot digest that. Everything is not that fast as we think it is. Work have to move. Our talks are pointed. Our minds are pointed. But work is not pointed. Work is vast. What I am saying here, it may be done 100 places. Who knows? Design is one part. Structural design is one part. Structural prosecution is another part, which is sometimes very serious. Because in structural designing, engineers work, professionals work. In structural prosecution, professionals only supervise. Engineering. We have to understand basics of everything, and that's a very important point. If you don't understand basics of everything, we can't do anything, and that's the important point here. We have to understand that. Now, I will not like to pull on. It's already 3 hours. We'll take up this talk later on, because I have to link it to many files. It's only some files here. There's chapters. I have to explain. There's no limit. You have to think on explain to make life easy. Otherwise, life is not that easy. It is difficult. We must understand. What we do on projects, sometimes it's unbecoming. Sometimes accidents results. Sometimes something else happens. People lose their lives. Sometimes, slabs collapse. Sometimes forms are open. There can be any casualty on site. There can be any failure in anything. Means it's not simple that they're doing concrete work. That's not an